The year was 2275, and humanity had finally stretched its arms beyond the solar system. Earth was no longer alone in hosting human life. Mars, with its sprawling domed cities, was home to millions. The moons of Jupiter and Saturn boasted thriving colonies, but it was the recent establishment of Nova Terra, Earth's first extrasolar colony, that marked humanity's greatest achievement. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Horizon, Earth's most advanced exploration vessel. Her dark eyes scanned the vast emptiness of space before her. The ship hummed softly, its fusion engines propelling them towards uncharted territory. "Captain, we're picking up an anomaly," Lieutenant Rodriguez called out from his station. "It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Sarah's heart raced. Could this be it? The moment humanity had been waiting for. On screen, she ordered, her voice steadied despite her excitement. The main view screen flickered to life, showing a massive structure floating in space. It was clearly artificial, its sleek design speaking of advanced technology far beyond humanity's current capabilities. "Send out the first contact package," Sarah commanded. This was the protocol they had trained for, a carefully crafted message of peace and friendship, translated into every language known to man and accompanied by scientific and cultural information about Earth. Hours passed in tense silence. The crew of the Horizon waited, barely daring to breathe. Then, suddenly, the communications officer shouted, "Captain, we're receiving a response." The message that came through was not in any human language, but the ship's advanced AI quickly began to decipher it. As the translation appeared on screen, Sarah's eyes widened. "Greetings, humans of Earth. We are the Galactic Council, keepers of peace for 3 millennia. Your arrival in the greater galaxy has been noted. Prepare for inspection." The news spread across human space like wildfire. Humanity was not alone in the universe. More importantly, they had stumbled upon not just a single alien race, but an entire council of spacefaring civilizations. Back on Earth, the United Earth government called an emergency session. President Adama stood before the assembly, her face grave. "Ladies and gentlemen, we stand at the threshold of a new era. Our first contact with the Galactic Council presents us with unprecedented opportunities and challenges." As diplomats prepared for the first face-to-face meeting with the Council representatives, scientists pored over the data sent by the Horizon. The level of technology displayed by the Council was staggering. Some saw it as an opportunity for advancement, others as a potential threat. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, Earth's leading xenobiologist, addressed a packed auditorium at Tokyo University. "The biodiversity implied by the Council's existence is mind-boggling," she explained, her holographic presentation showing speculative alien anatomies. "We must approach this with open minds and utmost caution." Meanwhile, in the bustling streets of New Delhi, Lagos, and Sao Paulo, people celebrated. The news had brought a sense of unity to humanity. Old rivalries seemed petty in the face of this cosmic revelation. Yet, not everyone shared in the excitement. In the hidden bunkers of Mars, General Viktor Petrov of the Colonial Defense Force watched the unfolding events with growing unease. 3,000 years of peace, he muttered to his advisors. "No civilization maintains peace for that long without a firm hand. We must be prepared for any eventuality." As the day of the Council's inspection drew near, a mix of anticipation and anxiety gripped human space. Captain Chen and the crew of the Horizon were chosen as humanity's first representatives. They prepared to dock with the Council's massive ship, their training barely keeping their nerves in check. Sarah took a deep breath as the airlock cycled. This was it, the moment that would define humanity's place in the galaxy. As the door slid open, she stepped forward, ready to greet their cosmic neighbors. Little did Sarah, or anyone else in human space, know that this moment of hope and wonder was merely the calm before a storm that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. The peace that the Galactic Council had maintained for 3,000 years was about to be tested, and humanity would find itself at the center of a conflict beyond anything they could have imagined. The massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber hissed open. Captain Sarah Chen led the small group of human delegates inside, their steps echoing in the cavernous space. Alien faces turned to watch them, some curious, others wary. At the center of the chamber stood High Counselor Zix, a tall, slender being with iridescent skin. "Welcome, humans," Zix's voice resonated, translated by the advanced AI devices each delegate wore. "We have much to discuss." For days, the human delegates engaged in talks with the Council. They shared information about Earth's history, culture, and technological advancements. In return, they learned about the vast network of alien civilizations that made up the galactic community. But as the talks progressed, tensions began to rise. Many council members viewed humanity's rapid expansion with alarm. "Your species has moved from planetary travel to interstellar colonization in mere centuries," one council member, a gelatinous being named Blorp, pointed out. "Such rapid advancement is concerning," Sarah tried to explain. "Humanity has always been driven to explore, to push boundaries. It's in our nature to conquer," another council member interrupted. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Back on Earth, President Adama received regular updates on the negotiations. She frowned as she read the latest report. "They're painting us as aggressors," she told her advisors. "We need to change their perception." But changing the Council's perception proved difficult. Every human achievement was viewed with suspicion. Every explanation was seen as an excuse. The situation came to a head when a human mining operation in a newly explored system accidentally damaged an ancient alien artifact. The artifact, unknown to the humans, was sacred to one of the Council races. News of the incident spread quickly. Council members were outraged. "This is proof of their destructive nature," Blorp exclaimed. "They must be contained before they cause more damage." Sarah and her team tried desperately to explain that it was an accident, that humans meant no disrespect, but their words fell on deaf ears. In a private chamber, High Counselor Zix met with the most influential council members. "We have maintained peace for 3,000 years, Zix said solemnly. "We cannot allow this young, volatile species to disrupt that peace." The decision was made. The Galactic Council would take action against humanity. Unaware of the Council's decision, the human delegates continued their efforts at diplomacy. Sarah was in the middle of a cultural exchange presentation when alarms suddenly blared throughout the Council station. "What's happening?" she asked, but the alien delegates were already rushing out of the room. On the main view screen, Sarah watched in horror as a massive fleet of Council ships emerged from faster-than-light travel near Earth's solar system. "This is a misunderstanding," Sarah shouted at Zix. "Please, let us explain." But Zix's expression was cold. "The Council has spoken, human. Your species is too dangerous to be allowed free rein in the galaxy." As Sarah and her team were detained, emergency signals flashed across human space. On Mars, General Petrov's worst fears were realized. "Initiate Defense Protocol Omega," he ordered grimly. "We're at war." Earth's fledgling space fleet scrambled to defend their home system. Colonial ships rushed back to lend support. But against the vast technological superiority of the Council forces, their efforts seemed futile. President Adama addressed the panicked populations of Earth and its colonies. "Citizens of Earth and her territories, we face our greatest challenge. An unprovoked attack threatens our very existence. But humanity has faced extinction before, and we have always prevailed. We will not go quietly into the night. We will fight, we will survive, and we will show the galaxy the true strength of the human spirit." As the first shots of the war were fired, illuminating the darkness of space, humanity stood on the brink of either extinction or their greatest triumph. The peace of 3,000 years was shattered, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The skies above Earth glowed with the fiery trails of debris from the first battle. Humanity had suffered heavy losses, but they had also surprised the Galactic Council forces with their fierce resistance. Now, as the dust settled, the real work began. In a secret underground bunker beneath the ruins of Geneva, President Adama met with Earth's top military and scientific minds. The room was tense, filled with grim faces illuminated by the soft blue glow of holographic displays. "We're outgunned and outmatched in almost every way," General Petrov stated bluntly, his hologram flickering slightly. "But we have one advantage: they underestimate us." Dr. Yuki Tanaka nodded in agreement. "The Council sees us as primitive. They don't expect us to adapt quickly. We can use that." President Adama stood up, her eyes blazing with determination. "Then let's show them what humanity can do when backed into a corner. I want every lab, every factory, every brilliant mind focused on one thing: survival." Across what remained of human space, a remarkable transformation began. The spirit that had driven humanity to the stars now turned to the art of war. In the asteroid belt, mining operations that once extracted precious metals for colony building now churned out materials for warships. Engineers worked tirelessly, reverse engineering recovered pieces of Council technology and integrating them into human designs. Dr. Tanaka led a team in studying the biology of captured Council species. "Their physiology is so different," she explained to her colleagues. "If we can understand it, we can defend against their weapons more effectively, and perhaps develop our own." Meanwhile, on Mars, General Petrov oversaw the training of a new kind of soldier. "The Council thinks in terms of large-scale fleet actions," he told his officers. "We'll hit them with small elite teams, unconventional warfare on a galactic scale." But humanity's greatest weapon was its diversity of thought. A call went out to every human, from the crowded arcologies of Earth to the farthest mining outpost. "Share your ideas, no matter how crazy they might seem." The response was overwhelming. A teenager in Lagos proposed a way to use Earth's magnetic field to enhance shield technology. A retired engineer in Sao Paulo designed a new type of stealth system based on deep-sea creatures. A group of gamers in Tokyo devised battle strategies that defied conventional military thinking. In orbit around Jupiter, the shipyards worked at a feverish pace. The first of a new class of warship took shape, smaller than the Council's massive vessels, but faster and more agile. Captain Sarah Chen, recently escaped from Council custody, watched the construction from the bridge of her new command. "They're calling it the Defiant class," her XO informed her. Sarah nodded, a grim smile on her face. A fitting name. As the Council forces regrouped for another push into human space, they encountered a changed enemy. Human ships darted in and out of asteroid fields, using hit-and-run tactics that frustrated the larger Council fleets. Ground battles on Mars were a nightmare of guerrilla warfare, with humans using their knowledge of the harsh terrain to deadly effect. But the real shock came when a small team of human operatives managed to infiltrate a Council supply base. Using technology that seamlessly blended biology and machine, they walked undetected among the alien races. The mission was a success, and more importantly, it shattered the Council's sense of superiority. In the Galactic Council chambers, alarm spread. High Councilor Zix faced angry demands for explanation. "How is this possible?" one member shouted. "They were primitives mere months ago." Zix had no answer. The quick adaptation of humanity had caught them all off guard. Back on Earth, President Adama addressed the United Earth government. The chamber, once opulent, now bore the scars of recent battles. But the faces of the representatives showed not defeat, but fierce determination. "We have lost much," Adama said, her voice carrying to every human settlement across the stars. "But we have gained something precious: unity. For the first time in our long, troubled history, all of humanity stands as one. And together, we will show the galaxy that humanity's spirit cannot be broken." A cheer went up, echoing through the chamber and across the communications networks. Humanity had weathered the first storm. Now, they would take the fight to the stars. The silence of space was shattered as the human fleet dropped out of hyperspace. Captain Sarah Chen sat rigid in her command chair aboard the UES Defiant, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. Before them loomed the massive form of a Galactic Council battle station, its weapon ports glowing with charged energy. "All ships, battle formation Delta," Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the tension. "Remember your training. We may be outnumbered, but we're not outmatched." This was it, humanity's first major offensive against the Council. Months of preparation, innovation, and sacrifice had led to this moment. The future of Earth hung in the balance. As if on cue, the Council's fleet emerged from behind the station. Their ships were larger, more numerous, their weapons more powerful. But the human fleet didn't waver. "Commence Operation Trojan Horse," Sarah commanded. Suddenly, from the cargo bays of several human ships, swarms of what looked like space debris erupted. But these weren't just chunks of metal. They were drone fighters, designed to confuse enemy sensors and provide cover for the main assault. The Council fleet faltered, their formation breaking as they tried to deal with the unexpected threat. In that moment of confusion, the human fleet struck. Defiant-class ships, nimble and swift, darted between the lumbering Council vessels. Their weapons, enhanced with reverse-engineered alien tech, punched through shields that had once seemed impenetrable. On the Council's flagship, Admiral Zorn of the Vexta race watched in disbelief. "Impossible," he muttered, his tentacles writhing in agitation. "How are they doing this?" But the humans were just getting started. From the belly of a specially designed carrier, a squad of space fighters emerged. Unlike traditional fighters, these were piloted by a unique human-AI hybrid consciousness, allowing for reflexes and decision-making capabilities that no organic pilot could match. The hybrid fighters weaved an impossible dance through the battlefield, their unpredictable movements leaving Council gunners firing at empty space. Back on the Defiant, Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The plan was working, but she knew the real test was yet to come. "All ships, initiate Phase 2, she ordered. At her command, several human ships suddenly went dark, their engines and systems powering down. To the Council's sensors, they appeared dead in space, easy targets. Admiral Zorn took the bait. "Concentrate fire on the disabled ships," he commanded, a sense of victory returning. But as the Council ships moved in for the kill, the disabled human vessels suddenly flared to life. Panels on their hulls slid open, revealing a weapon that made even the bravest Council warrior recoil in fear. It was the Medusa Array, a device that turned the Council's own shielding technology against them. Beams of energy lashed out, not to destroy, but to overload and reverse the Council ship's shield generators. Chaos erupted among the Council fleet as ships suddenly found themselves trapped within their own shields, unable to maneuver or fire weapons. Sarah's voice rang out across the human fleet. "All ships, fire at will." The battle that followed was short but fierce. Council ships, hampered by their own technology, fell one by one to precise human attacks. Admiral Zorn watched in horror as his fleet crumbled around him. In a final, desperate move, he ordered his flagship to ram the human carrier. But he had underestimated human ingenuity once again. As his ship approached, the carrier split apart, revealing it was actually two smaller ships connected by a holographic projection. Zorn's flagship sailed harmlessly between them, right into the waiting guns of the Defiant. Hours later, as the human fleet secured their victory, Sarah stood on the observation deck of the captured Council battle station. The station's database was a treasure trove of information that could turn the tide of the war. As she looked out at the starfield, now littered with the remnants of the battle, Sarah felt a mix of pride and sadness. They had won, but at a cost. Many good people had died today. A junior officer approached, interrupting her thoughts. "Captain, we've received a message from Earth. President Adama wants to speak with you." Sarah nodded, squaring her shoulders. This victory was significant, but she knew it was just the beginning. The real war was just starting, and humanity would need every ounce of courage and ingenuity to survive what was coming. As she walked to the communication room, a new determination filled her. They had proven today that humanity could not only survive in this war, but win. And win they would, no matter the cost. The war had raged for 2 years. Humanity had proved resilient, but the Galactic Council's vast resources seemed endless. Earth's cities lay in ruins, and its colonies struggled to survive. Yet, in secret labs and hidden bases across the solar system, hope was taking shape. Dr. Yuki Tanaka stood before a group of scientists and military leaders in an underground facility on Europa, Jupiter's icy moon. Her eyes sparkled with excitement despite her exhaustion. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, "I believe we've cracked the Council's quantum communication system." The room erupted in murmurs. General Petrov leaned forward, his cybernetic eye whirring as it focused. "Are you certain, Doctor?" Yuki nodded. "We can not only intercept their transmissions, but also send our own undetected. This could change everything." Meanwhile, light years away, Captain Sarah Chen was on a covert mission. Her ship, the UES Shadow, slipped silently through the darkness of space, its experimental stealth systems making it invisible to Council sensors. Sarah's mission was bold, to make contact with potential allies within the Council itself. Intelligence suggested that not all member species were happy with the war against humanity. As the Shadow approached a secret rendezvous point, Sarah's second-in-command, Lieutenant Raj Patel, spoke up. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission on the agreed frequency." Sarah took a deep breath. "This is it. Let's hope our new friends are genuine." The view screen flickered to life, revealing an alien face. It belonged to Xar, a member of the Jothi species. The Jothi were known for their logical minds and distaste for unnecessary conflict. "Greetings, Captain Chen," Xar said, its multifaceted eyes blinking rapidly. "We have much to discuss and little time. The Council grows more fractured each day. Many of us believe this war is a mistake." Back on Earth, President Adama received the news of these developments with cautious optimism. In a secure bunker deep beneath the Rockies, she met with her advisors. "If Dr. Tanaka's breakthrough is genuine, and if Captain Chen's mission succeeds, we might finally have a chance to end this war," she said. "But we need something more, something to tip the scales decisively in our favor." As if on cue, a hologram flickered to life, revealing the face of Nikolai Volkov, Earth's most brilliant and eccentric inventor. His wild hair and excited eyes gave him the look of a mad scientist. "Madam President," he said, barely containing his excitement, "I think we've done it. Project Phoenix is ready for testing." Project Phoenix was humanity's most ambitious undertaking yet. It aimed to create a device that could manipulate the very fabric of space-time, allowing for instant transportation across vast distances. If it worked, it would revolutionize warfare and exploration. If it failed, it could tear a hole in the universe. As these events unfolded, the Galactic Council was facing its own crisis. High Counselor Zix stood before the assembled representatives, trying to maintain order. "We must stay united," Zix pleaded. "Humanity is on the brink of defeat. We cannot falter now." But doubt had taken root. Rumors of human technological breakthroughs spread fear among some council members. Others, like Tar and his allies, argued for peace negotiations. The council chambers erupted into chaos as accusations flew. Millennia of peace had not prepared them for the strain of a prolonged war against a species as tenacious as humanity. In the following weeks, the tide of war began to shift. Human ships, armed with knowledge of council communications, launched precision strikes against key targets. Alien worlds that had never seen battle now felt the sting of conflict as humanity took the fight to council space. Simultaneously, diplomatic channels buzzed with activity. Sarah Chen, working with Tar and other sympathetic aliens, began to build a coalition of species who sought to end the war. On Earth, final preparations for Project Phoenix were underway. In a massive underground hangar, A device of mind-bending complexity took shape. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, knowing that the fate of their species might rest on their success. President Adama stood watching the work, her face a mask of determination. An aide approached with a message. "Madam President," he said, "we've just received word. The Council, it's collapsed. Civil war has broken out among its member species." Adama closed her eyes, taking in the magnitude of this news. When she opened them again, they blazed with resolve. "Send word to all our forces," she commanded. "The time to end this war has come. Humanity will forge its own destiny among the stars." As her words spread across human space, a new chapter in the conflict began. The Galactic Council was fracturing, and humanity stood poised to reshape the very nature of galactic civilization. The coming days would determine the fate not just of Earth, but of countless worlds across the cosmos. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath as the combined fleet of humanity and their new alien allies faced off against the remnants of the Galactic Council's armada. This was it, the final battle that would decide the fate of the galaxy. Aboard the UES Defiant, now the flagship of the human fleet, Captain Sarah Chen stood tall. Her eyes scanned the tactical displays, taking in the vast array of ships before her. It was a sight she never thought she'd see. Human vessels flying alongside those of former enemies, united against a common foe. "All ships report ready, Captain," Lieutenant Raj Patil announced, his voice steady despite the tension. Sarah nodded. "Then let's make history. Commence Operation Endgame." As if on cue, a shimmering portal opened in space, the result of Project Phoenix. Through it poured more ships, catching the enemy in a pincer movement. The battle erupted in a dazzling display of energy weapons and explosions. Meanwhile, on the Council's capital world of Axiom Prime, chaos reigned. High Counselor Zix, once the picture of calm authority, now fought desperately to maintain control. "We cannot let these upstart humans and traitors win." Zix shouted to the remaining loyal council members. "Activate the Omega Protocol." Eyes widened in shock. The Omega Protocol was a last resort weapon capable of destroying entire star systems. Its use had been forbidden for millennia. Back in space, the battle raged fiercely. Human ingenuity combined with alien technology created a formidable force. Yet the Council's desperation made them dangerous. Suddenly, alarms blared across the Allied fleet. Energy spike detected on Axiom Prime. An officer shouted, "It's like nothing we've ever seen." Sarah's blood ran cold. She had been briefed on the possibility of the Omega Protocol. If activated, it would obliterate not just their fleet, but countless innocent worlds. "This is Captain Chen to all ships," she broadcast. "We need to stop that weapon at all costs. Volunteers for a ground assault, step forward." The response was immediate. Humans and aliens alike volunteered for what could be a suicide mission. Sarah felt a surge of pride as she assembled her team. As the space battle continued to rage, Sarah and her strike team used the chaos as cover to land on Axiom Prime. The planet's surface was a maze of towering structures and advanced technology. "The energy source is coming from that central spire." Dr. Yuki Tanaka's voice came through their comms. She was coordinating the mission from orbit, using the hacked Council communications. The team fought their way through waves of defenders, their diverse abilities complementing each other perfectly. A Jothi warrior's strength, a human's adaptability, a Vexta's technical skills. Together, they were unstoppable. Finally, they reached the heart of the complex. There stood High Counselor Zix, tentacles working furiously over a massive control panel. "Stop!" Sarah shouted, her weapon trained on Zix. "It's over. Shut it down." Zix turned, eyes blazing with fanatical light. "You don't understand. This power has kept peace for thousands of years. We cannot let it end." "Peace through fear isn't peace at all," Sarah replied. "We're offering a chance for real cooperation, real progress." For a moment, it seemed Zix might listen. Then, with lightning speed, The alien lunged for the final activation switch. Time seemed to slow. Sarah's enhanced reflexes, a gift of human bioengineering, kicked in. Her shot was perfect, striking Zix's hand mere inches from the switch. As Zix collapsed, the rest of the team rushed to secure the weapon. Outside, the news of the Omega Protocol's deactivation spread quickly. Without their ultimate weapon, the remaining Council forces began to surrender. In orbit, cheers erupted across the Allied fleet. Centuries of oppression under the guise of peace were ending. A new era was dawning. Sarah stared out at the glittering cityscape of Axiom Prime, her heart heavy with the cost of victory, yet hopeful for the future. Her comm unit crackled to life. It was President Adama. Captain Chen. Outstanding work. Thanks to you and your team, we've won not just the battle, but a chance for lasting peace. Report back as soon as you can. We have a galaxy to rebuild. As Sarah acknowledged the order, she couldn't help but smile. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger than ever. Now they would take their place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as partners in a new galactic community. The war was over. The real work was just beginning. 5 years had passed since the fall of the Galactic Council. The Great Hall of the newly established Interstellar Alliance buzzed with activity. Representatives from hundreds of species, including humans, gathered for a historic occasion. At the center of it all stood Sarah Chen, no longer a captain but now Earth's ambassador to the stars. Her eyes swept across the chamber, taking in the diverse array of beings. Some she had once fought against, others alongside. Now they were all colleagues in a grand experiment of cooperation. The floor recognizes Ambassador Chen of Earth, announced the chairperson, a towering insectoid being named Zigzag. Sarah stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. Fellow representatives, 5 years ago, we stood on the brink of mutual annihilation. Today, we gather to ratify the Galactic Charter of Rights and Responsibilities. This document represents not just the end of one era, but the beginning of a new age of exploration, scientific advancement, and mutual understanding. As Sarah spoke, memories flashed through her mind. The brutal war, the desperate battles, the moments of despair and triumph, they had all led to this moment. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the scars of war were slowly healing. In the rebuilt city of New Geneva, President Adama watched the proceedings via holographic transmission. Beside her stood Dr. Yuki Tanaka and General Petrov, all of them older now, bearing the weight of their experiences. Who would have thought, Petrov mused, his cybernetic eye whirring softly, that our fight for survival would lead to this? Yuki nodded, a smile on her face. Humanity's greatest strength was never our technology or our fighting spirit. It was our ability to adapt, to learn, to forge connections even with those who were once our enemies. On Mars, a different scene unfolded. A group of human and alien scientists huddled around a strange device, the next iteration of Project Phoenix. Among them was Nikolai Volkov, his wild hair now streaked with gray. Careful now, Nikolai cautioned, his eyes gleaming with excitement. If this works, we'll be able to open stable wormholes between any 2 points in the galaxy. The age of true interstellar civilization will begin. As the device hummed to life, a shimmering portal opened, revealing a vista of an alien world light years away. Cheers erupted from the team. The boundaries of space and time were crumbling before the combined ingenuity of multiple species. Back in the Alliance Hall, the debate continued. Not everyone was happy with the proposed charter. Some species, still bitter from the war, argued for stricter controls on emerging civilizations. Others, including humanity, championed a more open approach. We cannot let fear dictate our future, Sarah argued passionately. Yes, there are risks in embracing new species and ideas, but there is far greater risk in isolation and stagnation. We must learn from the mistakes of the old council. As she spoke, Sarah caught the eye of Star, the Jothi representative who had once helped her in secret during the war. Sar nodded approvingly, a gesture that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. Hours of debate passed. Finally, the moment of decision arrived. The vote was called, and one by one, the representatives made their choice. Sarah held her breath. This was more than just politics. It was the future of the galaxy, a future that billions had fought and died for. The final tally appeared on the grand display. A hush fell over the chamber. The Galactic Charter, Zikzak announced, antenna quivering with emotion, has been ratified. The hall erupted in a cacophony of cheers, roars, whistles, and other alien sounds of jubilation. Sarah closed her eyes, letting the moment wash over her. When she opened them again, she saw not just allies or former enemies, but a tapestry of life in all its diverse glory. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not as conquerors or subjects, but as partners in a grand cosmic dance. As the celebration continued, Sarah's communicator beeped. It was a message from Earth, from President Adama herself. "Well done, Sarah," it read. "The real work begins now. Ad astra per aspera." Sarah smiled at the old Latin phrase. To the stars through difficulties. How fitting for humanity's journey. As she looked out at the assembled representatives of a new galactic order, Sarah Chen, once a starship captain, now architect of peace, felt a profound sense of hope. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and humanity, together with its new allies, was ready to explore it all. The war was over. A new chapter in galactic history had begun, and the best was yet to come.